I want to put it up so that you've got no excuses, right? So I'm going to put it in the chat right now. So you know those people on the left-hand side?
What about them?
Yeah? You see their feet? Are they below the horizon, would you say? Would you say they are below the horizon or above the horizon?
I don't know where the horizon is there.
Well, they're standing on sand. What do you think?
I honestly don't know where the horizon is. All I
They
know
are
is that I do not see a clear geometric. I don't see a horizon, something that you could call, the apparent horizon from the geometric horizon, which is the curvature of the Earth.
right. You see
You
those
can't say
people.
that the mountain is lower because of the curvature of the Earth and not have the curvature of the Earth.
Do you see those people in the image?
I know what image you're talking about and the people that you're talking about. I'm not looking at my
Right, because
phone right now.
I've
Go ahead.
posted it in the chat right now.
Yeah, I'm not looking at my phone. So continue your point.
Okay, so we have people on the sand in the image, and behind them, roughly about where their heads are, we have this inferior mirage, and then we start to see all the other stuff like the mountains and the wind turbines and the like. But the problem is that you've obviously got a direct line of sight to the human beings and the feet, and then an extended plane, let's say, we can call it a plane, up until the point where it meets an inferior mirage. Okay, so we can safely assume that the human beings are not standing on either the curvature of the Earth or the horizon, correct?
They're not standing on the curvature of the Earth or the horizon. Of course not. That's not
Visually.
how the horizon
Yeah,
works.
visually, yeah. Okay, cool, right. As long as we're on board with that, because you see that mountain behind, the one with the wind turbines on, yeah, that one. Well, where those feet are of those human beings, the bottom of that mountain would be below that, lower than that, below that, if you could have a direct line of sight to it. So there's something obstructing your line of sight to the bottom of that mountain behind, right? There's something obstructing it. And all I see is a whole lot of sand, at least, right up until we get to that inferior mirage, right? So all of that sand and that inferior mirage is all hiding the bottom of that mountain, right? Now, is that flat Earth proof?
Hold up a second. Alright, so you're saying all the sand beside their feet is hiding what?
You see where they are standing, you see behind them, you see you've got the sand behind them, right up to the head. Can you see all that sand going right up to the head? And then you've got the inferior mirage. Well, the bottom of that mountain that's directly behind them, the bottom of that mountain.
Do we have an
is,
inferior mirage? Where is it?
forget the inferior mirage. I'm not asked about that. Let's look
You
at the
just brought it
sand.
up, and you're saying you see that inferior mirage, and I'm asking you where the inferior mirage is, so I know what you're talking
Well,
about.
so you're going to distract. Okay, right. So the inferior mirage is just to the right hand side of them, next to that building, right? Clearly there. But let's move on. Let's move
Is
past
that
that
not
for now.
water there?
Hold on. Let's move past that for now. Let's move past that for now.
Hold up,
And
but is
let's
that
just
not water?
hold,
Because it kind
hold
of
on.
looks
Hold
like
on.
a reflection.
Let's stay on track. Don't
It's a
try
simple
to
question.
obfuscate.
Is there water
Yeah,
there or not?
but don't try to
Because if there
obfuscate and
isn't, then
run
I would
away.
agree with you that it's inferior mirage. If there is
Okay.
water there, it might just be the reflection of whatever it is in the water.
Whatever it is, it makes no difference. I'm
It does make a
retracting that.
difference. Is
I'm
there water there
retracting
or not?
whatever it is. I'm retracting that point right now. I'm removing that from this conversation.
All right,
I
the
am
jury
no longer
disregard.
making that claim. Yeah. So let's stick to the sand. You can definitely see the sand, right? All the way up to the, the point where the mountain appears to meet the sand. You can see that, yeah. All that
Yeah, I
sand.
don't know if that's water or not. I see like this delineation of dark sand to white, whatever,
Yeah. So it's sand.
beside their
So
heads, kind of in the same
yeah,
line.
it's sand all the way, and the mountain that's directly behind that, the bottom of that, if you had a direct line of sight to it right now, if you could see it, you would have to look through those human beings, you'd have to look through their feet, you'd have to look through all of that sand to actually see the bottom of that mountain, right?
Disagree.
Now that's a problem, and you wouldn't just have to see it wouldn't
Why is
have
that
to
a
be a little
problem?
bit of sand. Well, this is what I'm asking you. How would you explain that on a flat plane then?
This is what I see. I see sand, and then I see it's very blurry, and I see like a delineation, and then white stuff after. I don't know if there's water there or not, but let's say you're
Doesn't
taking like
matter.
let's give you the benefit of the doubt and say it's sand until it's mountain. Okay?
Yeah,
I don't see a horizon. I see this like
Who
inclining
mentioned the
mountain.
horizon? Who mentioned the horizon? We're just looking at where's the bottom of the mountain. That's all. That's all the only thing we're interested in. We're not interested in is the water there? Is there an inferior mirage there?
Well, those
Is
are
it all
important
dark
things
sand?
because
Is
if
it
there
dark
is
sand,
an
white
inferior
sand?
mirage, then
Well,
that would mean that there's kind of a horizon. That's an effect of a horizon, right?
well, no. Forget the horizon. You don't need to think about the horizon right now. You can remove the horizon from your thinking. Just ask yourself,
Okay, then how do we know
sand.
if it's
Just
like
ask yourself. No. Just ask yourself.
Go ahead.
Sand, an area that's a little bit fuzzy where there's some stuff going on. You can't really make it out. So we know that area is there. We're not going to make a claim of what that is right now.
All right,
It's just
continue.
a fuzzy area, right? So we've got sand and humans walking on sand. We've got a fuzzy area. We're not going to make a physical claim to what that is. And then we've got a mountain behind it. And we definitely know that the mountain is about 180 meters of that mountain is not visible at all
How do we
in
know
this
that?
image. Because we know the wind turbines. We know all those 4 wind turbines on that hill, and we know their exact GPS location. We know their exact elevation. We know
Which
the
wind
type of
turbines?
turbine.
Right,
We know the
Ranty,
type of
Ranty,
turbines that
Ranty,
they are.
Ranty,
Oh,
Ranty,
please don't.
Ranty, Ranty,
Please,
Ranty,
I think
please.
you're talking about a separate image
please,
now.
hold up, right, please.
Don't come to save him. Don't come to save
What
him.
wind turbines?
No, Ranty, can I ask you a question, please? Because
No,
You're
no.
talking
This
about
isn't important. No. Please, why are you interrupting?
because I've been
You
listening to
can
both sides,
literally
right? I've
say
listened.
that I
You
have
asked me a
this.
question. Let me answer. You've asked me a
No, I
question.
have this guy
You've
on
asked
the
me a
road.
question. Let me answer.
I am educating
No,
him about
listen.
the.
You really
And
don't,
you
bro.
want to
Go
come in.
ahead, Ranty. Go ahead. Just
And
just
he
get
wants.
on with what. Just get on with what you were saying.
Holy
Please.
fuck!
Okay, I'm looking
Serious.
at the image that you and Terry. Well, there's 2 different images here. Okay, I've been looking at the one with the people with Terry, and I don't see any wind turbines.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you don't see the
trying-
wind turbines, but fortunately, Bev he went back. Yeah, Bev went back, and he actually took some images of all the wind turbines, and you see that wind turbine that's just been posted now, just in the center of the screen, that little stick. Yeah, that's what Tony picked out on the original image, the one that's all whited out. But Bev went back and he took another image, which
don't see
actually
it.
shows all of the 4 wind turbines on the hill, and we're able to identify them all. And guess what?
You're
There's
talking about this image that
180
Terry
meters
just posted
missing.
with like a little
Stick.
crow-looking thing. There's a
I don't
Yeah.
know where the images. I don't know where the clear images of it is.
Of what, the 4 sticks?
Yeah, the turbo. That's all I can do with what the normal
Yeah.
picture.
Don't worry.
Here's the
I've got
question.
it.
Here's the question.
Don't worry. I've got it up here. I'm going to post it. The whole analysis up right now.
Ranty,
whole
I got a quick question
analysis.
for you. How can you differentiate between the effects of perspective versus curvature of the Earth when there isn't a horizon in the image?
Right. Okay. So you don't need the horizon to work out what you're looking at here. The horizon is irrelevant in this.
Oh, really?
You say that, but how do you differentiate between perspective, just making things smaller in the as they get farther, making them lower down as they get farther, versus Earth curve without any geometric horizon / Earth curve?
Okay. Let me explain it to you a little bit easier. Right. Replace those mountains in the background with giants, right? So they're all giants, right? Each one of those mountain ranges in the back. There's 7 or 8 of them. Let's call them all. Let's just say they're all different sized giants, right? So in all of those giants, and we know the giants, right? Because we see, we can see the full size giant.
Yeah, you can't
when we're
see
closest,
their shins
right?
or something like that.
No, not just the shins. You can't see up to their waist. So the only thing you can see is from the belly button up, right? That's all you can see. But they have legs. You definitely know those giants have legs because when you go nearer,
Fantastic.
you can see the
I'm
legs.
with you.
So
If we can't see
the legs
up to their
are?
waist, that means that there's something blocking it, right? So it should be clear in the photo that something's blocking it, right?
No.
Really? So something's blocking it, and we can't see their waist, but we can't see anything blocking it.
Exactly.
You understand how this doesn't make sense?
No,
Your
because you don't
evidence
understand.
is inconclusive.
No, because you don't understand what you're looking at here. That left-hand part where you've got that inferior mirage that I was talking about is
I thought
actually
you said you want to disregard the inferior mirage.
Because I'm now going to explain to you what you are seeing here, right? And why I disregarded the left-hand side for this exact purpose, because it literally is a straw man argument, which I didn't really want to get into, which is why I focused primarily on the tower.
You mean disregarded after the fact, right? Because initially
which is
you didn't even know about it.
No, which is primarily why I focused on the tower and the the ice blast, and the big wheel, right? Because with those three things in the image, you can definitely attain eye line, right? Or eye level. So you know where eye level is. So you don't need a horizon. And because you're quite low, you're only at 6 meters to 12 meters in elevation, you know where eye line is because you know what those objects in the foreground, you know where their bottoms are, right? So you can attain where eye level is. And based upon that, you know that at least half of those mountains are missing behind the tower. The same on the left-hand side, except it gets a little bit fuzzy there because what you're looking at there is, yes, you are starting to look over water there. That is where the water starts in the sea. And what you're seeing is obviously the tide is out, and the tide is just starting to come in around that location there, which is just near the sand dunes, actually, near the sand dunes. The water doesn't go out too far, which is why it seems to be lapping around that corner there, that building. And so when you're looking over water at a very shallow angle, you always get an inferior mirage, right? And it's a known fact. So you will never see a definitive horizon because the inferior mirage messes everything up, which is why you've got that. Hold on, which is why you've got that whole area there. That's a little bit. There's a little tiny area about, let's say it was 10 pixels high, right? But what you need to account for is around about 300 pixels of the mountain. Right? Where's 300 pixels at the bottom of that mountain if the only fuzzy area that you can't determine anything in is about 10 pixels? And then right beneath that, you can definitely see sand and people walking on the sand, right?
Ranty, no offense, but
if you're not getting this, then you
strike me as a bit disingenuous. Because when I asked you simple questions regarding the photo, you neglected to answer them and stuff, and it seemed like you had an agenda. You want to, kind of come in with your confirmation bias and explain what you want to explain, and then disregard.
Literally none of that happened. Literally none of that happened.
No, it did happen, because I asked if there was water there. He neglected
I've been sitting there listening.
We talked about he mentioned the inferior mirage, and then as soon as I asked him about that, he retracted it. It seems like
I retracted it because you wanted to focus on it when it makes no. You wanted to focus on something that had absolutely no part of this actual analysis. It means nothing. That inferior mirage means nothing.
Okay, it has a very core part. You're saying that the bottom of this mountain is obstructed, but the thing that's obstructing it, we can't even make out.
You can absolutely make it out.
You're claiming it's Earth curve, but we can't see Earth curve. It's a problem. Yes, this is weak evidence.
Not. You see where those humans are standing? They are definitely standing on sand, right? Well, the bottom of that mountain, if you had a direct line of sight to it, would be below that, lower than where they are. So the sand that they are actually standing on is absolutely obstructing the bottom of that mountain.
Like sinking.
You don't have to get closer and closer and closer to the horizon or perceived horizon where the inferior mirage is, where you can try and make some kind of wild claim. You don't need to focus on that. The bottom of that mountain,
it's all blurry and not in focus and stuff. It's
the bottom of the mountain.
Circumstantial evidence. Hold up. It's circumstantial evidence that there is some refraction happening here. So there could be compressing, where after where that horizon would be, or where the bottom of the mountain would be. There could be some compression. There could be sinking. We don't know. We can't make out a horizon. And you're saying the horizon is blocking the bottom of the mountain, which we can't see.
So could you tell me where the data is in for this sinking effect?
I'm saying it could be that. I'm not claiming it is. I'm saying we can speculate as to what is in that area because it's all fuzzy. We can't make any of that.
Speculating that would be claiming that.
No,
you're just trying to get out. You're just trying to get. You're trying to get out. You're trying to get out of having to back up any bullshit. You want to spit a bunch of bullshit.
I'm not coming in with a claim. He's claiming that the mountain is blocked by Earth curvature, and yet there is no Earth curvature in the photo blocking the mountain. We can't make it out.
Except everywhere in that photo.
The whole photo.
Except nowhere in that photo. There's no horizon in this photo that I can see.
You don't need a horizon to determine what's going on with the mountain. Yes, you do.
If it's being occluded by the geometric horizon, you need a horizon.
No, you don't.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Okay, can I have a say, please?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
But at the end of the day, oh my god, I completely forgot my point. You talk about the horizon. You don't need a horizon now. So now we could just we don't need a horizon, but we can just tell you there's a geometric horizon at this particular mathematical equation. But we derive all our launches from this number, but we don't need it.
Who's talking about the globe here? We're not talking about the globe here. talking about. We're not talking about the globe. We're talking about this image doesn't work on a flat plane. Very simple.
You want people to explain on a flat Earth, right? But you're saying there's a horizon, there's a lot of dirty air there, and basically, why can't you see things through that clearly? Because obviously, a lot of the heat and stuff, and all comes mostly dense as it comes off the floor at the surface level. As it gets higher, it dissipates. There's obviously a thick area which would go across the surface of the horizon. So obviously, when you're looking through miles and miles of thick air and dirty air, obviously, it's going to end up just being a bit distorted, which is what you're seeing, just pure distortion. But I do not see personally. I'm from a neutral perspective, Ranty. I've been listening to both arguments. I've been listening to Nathan them show. I've been listening to you, and I don't feel like what you're saying is really it's clear as day to see what your argument is. In all honesty, regardless, I've tried to pay attention to what you're trying to show us, and all you're saying is, well, that dirty air line there, therefore, the mountain should be higher than it should. Well, I'm trying to show you where the horizon is, that thick line that you was trying to get him to answer and how that'd work on a flat Earth. I'm trying to keep the conversation flowing so we can get to the point of what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much. So the fact of the matter is, you talked about that as if that was, you're kind of insinuating as if that was curvature, right? But then when people are trying to hold you to where is that you're saying the geometric horizon is there, you don't want to answer it. So you're just showing nothing but double speaking when you're trying to present your own evidence. You're not sticking to your own guns. Now you are though, because I've been sitting here listening. All right, then fair enough. Well, if you're in denial,
it's a very simple process. It's a very simple process. Half of the mountain is missing, and you're trying to claim that a bit of dirty air is hiding it.
You're trying to say that's curvature.
I'm not saying that. I never said that. I said it doesn't work on a plane. It doesn't work on a plane. It's very simple.
Let me ask you a simple question. And if you imagine yourself being on an infinite plane, you was looking for an infinite amount of dirty air. Do you think you'd be able to see China from New York? Of course you wouldn't. You spastic.
We're not looking at China. You can start the ad homs. It's clear that obviously you're losing at this point if you're going to ad hom.
All right then. Okay.
Listen, I'm not the spastic. Certainly not. I'm the one trying to tell you. I'm the one trying to say to you, look, in this particular image, in this particular image, because it is such a clear image with all of the relevant parts in it, which are visible. I've just posted an image. I mean, can you not actually see that? Can you see the image that I've just posted side by side? The original image versus the map, the terrain, all the way down, which matches up perfectly to the 350 meters of missing.
Bro. All right, look, at the end of the day, you do your things across land, and we all know that land is uneven. It's a very uneven surface, so all your stuff over this, for personally myself, would be inconclusive anyway, just to crush a complete argument from the very get-go. Secondly, I've seen different videos, people analysis on it, and there's when you look further in the background, on the left-hand side that was trying to cut out the image, there was a wind turbine that was clearly showing a certain decent height, and that was elevated over a flat map which was derived off Google Earth. Google Earth showing you exactly how you would see it, and it comes up exactly how we see it, exactly how it's portrayed. There is no drop on Google Earth, but you don't want to answer that, do you? But
absolutely, I'll answer it right now. I'll answer it right now. What is it you want to know about the wind turbine? You said
that measurement was made up by Sleeping Warrior, right? And it measured up exactly how it was done on Google Earth, and Google Earth doesn't do drop and does the rate doesn't have the Earth radius in it. It's over a flat plane. So the measurements added up over a flat plane. So your own model proves how that model works on a flat map. Just go to Google Earth and have a look at it. Go to Google Earth. Your own model proves your own model.
No, it's
a flat. Whatever. It's
a globe. It's a globe map, and also it's elevation profile. So the elevation profile will appear to be flat on a globe because of the way the elevation profile works.
So it's flat. So in other words, it's flat. So it's flat. So our globe model is flat. Our globe model doesn't show any sort of curvature. Our globe model is flat. Therefore, you agree.
So much.
It works.
So little.
Do you know what the difference between
You didn't understand it. Let me tell him about this wind turbine first, and then you guys can educate him on what elevation means in Google Earth, because clearly this guy has
no curvature on your. You got a globe Earth with no curvature in it. Brilliant. How do you have a globe with no curvature?
So you see that wind turbine.
How do you have a globe model with no curvature in it?
So you see that.
Answer the question.
You see that you want to know about this wind turbine? You asked me a question before. You asked me about the wind turbine.
I'm asking you one.
Yeah, but just because you're talking isn't going to talk over me, because I'm just going to keep going back to the wind turbine, because you wanted to know about that, and you claim that Sleeping Warrior has some kind of proof for that. So my question is, do you know the elevation? Do You know the elevation of the base of where that wind turbine sits upon.
I remember when I was looking at it, it was something like that. It was supposed to be 1,000 feet or something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but off the top of my head. But when I watched
214 meters. I'll give you that. 214 meters. It's not far off. So we'll agree to disagree on that. But it's 214 meters is where the wind turbine sits, the ground on it, right? But do you know how high the turbine is? Because it looked quite tall, yeah. Looked like a big...
Don't I get to answer it? So it's me just sitting there and have to answer every single question for you, and you don't.
That's it. That's the only question I'm going to ask you, and then I'll tell you what you actually seen in it. So you remember, you can definitely see the turbine though. Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember it exactly. So whatever you've seen isn't really going to hold any water because I can't double check and back check what you're saying, confirm what you're saying and what I'm saying. So it's kind of irrelevant, really. I've answered your question. At the end of the day,
would you like me to post the image for you again?
I just think it's pretty funny that we can't really just find some sort of fucking way to measure the radius, and we can't seem to find a geometric horizon when apparently all lights refracted, so it's it bent that you can't draw a tangent to a curved line. And basically all your maths that you've got from that, it's kind of going bunk. And I think you guys need to just answer the questions that are being asked rather than just moaning about this. It's over land anyway.
You just brought up the wind turbine, so let's stick to the wind turbine.
The strongest piece of evidence for the geometric horizon is a photo without a geometric horizon.
Let's hold on. Let's bring it back on the wind turbine. I've just posted the image again. So this is the wind turbine that Sleeping Warrior picked out. So can you just scroll to that part and just tell me that you can see the wind turbine, because I can see it quite clearly. Just tell me that you can see it, right? First and foremost.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you say it's quite a substantial size, isn't it? When you're looking at it. And it's not far off. It's not far off that inferior mirage actually, but it's just above what you would quote unquote say is the horizon, yeah, or perceived horizon, right? Well, how high do you think that wind turbine hub is?
I think it's about 100 foot in it. I can't remember. It was about 100 in it, or 168 or something. I can't remember the height of them.
Yeah, it's 41 meters, but the base of it.
How many foot's that?
41 meters is about 130 foot, something like that.
About 100, I thought so. Yeah, around that. Yeah, about that.
Yeah,
that's about right.
So it's 41 meters tall, right? And it's nearly at the floor. It's nearly at the floor of where you'd say the horizon is, right? The problem is that it sits on an elevation of 214 meters, but it's only 41 meters tall. Can you do some calculations for me? Can you get 218 and minus 41 for me, please, and tell me what that is?
So basically, can we get the magic book out and start fucking scribbling things on
it's
pieces
just
of paper?
That's it. You can figure it out for yourself then.
Why you can figure it out. Are you that weak, right? Are you that weak that you have to interrupt my reply? Are you that weak?
Come on, can't you add up?
You keep interrupting me. Your interruption is much more worse than my ad hom. My ad hom is a reaction to your my ad hom is a reaction to your interruption because you're being entirely rude by interrupting my reply. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
And what's your reply? What's your reply going to be? Are you going to give me a number? Are you going to give me a number of meters?
Basically,
he's not going to be bothered to do anything.
Are you going to give me a number of meters?
We've got some funding muting. This is what we call funding muting right now. So if he wants to keep talking whilst
188 meters if it's 218 minus 40.
Not answering.
Take us away from
18 meters minus 41.
With your little maths book, right, and your little fucking equations.
It's a bit hard for him to answer if you keep jabbering on.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, lads. At the end of the day, you're weak. You know, your little mathematic board. You've got that little mathematic board out, and now you've lost.
Says the guy that has to just continuously.
There you go. Well, there's a big image of that turbine. Yeah, it's only 41 meters tall, right? And it sits on an elevation of 218 meters. Oh dear. Don't you see the problem there?
So what you're saying that's all so the missing because it's like a level with the floor. Where's all the missing turbine? Therefore, there's that's curvature. Then
I'm not saying anything. I didn't make a claim. I didn't make a claim. I didn't make a claim. No, because you asked me if I made a claim. You just literally asked me, did I make a claim? And I said no, I didn't make a claim.
Are you insinuating that's curvature then?
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm asking you to think critically. I'm asking you to think critically. Where's the rest of the 178 meters?
Yo, Ranty, this image that you posted where it's like a model showing the topology.
hold on. Listen, stop playing games, mate. You're trying to convince somebody about some curvature that you've got evidence for, right? Now, don't be smart about it. Just explain what you're insinuating by saying, well, the windmill's so high, and obviously we look at it looks at level with the floor. So what's going on there? Is that what you're claiming? Yeah.
So no, I asked you to engage your critical thinking. Now this is what I did when I first put this video out, and I actually said to people, I hope that people work this out themselves and come to the same conclusions that I did, because all I'm going to do is sprinkle the breadcrumbs, and they have to follow it themselves and work out the answers for themselves. And it's very simple. It's very simple, right? That turbine is 41 meters tall, but the bottom of it sits 218 meters above sea level. Right, so now all you have to do is look at that image and just think for yourself. That's it. I don't have to tell you it. I don't have to make any insinuations. I just have to say to you, work it out for yourself. And if you can't do that, and you're just coming in to argue for argument's sake, because that's what I feel like you've just come in for. You're not coming in to have a debate. You've just come in to have. No, I've not finished, because I've not finished. I've not finished my point. I've not literally finished my point.
I'm going to forget my point that you've asked me to.
Well, that's your fault, because I'm still talking. So that wind turbine that you mentioned, that Sleeping Warrior brought out, when you have it in your head that it's some kind of flat Earth proof, I've just walked you through some calculations. Now you need to think for yourself, is it true what Sleeping Warrior said, or can I look at that and then think for myself and come to a different conclusion? Because I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
This guy is so long-winded. Bro,
yeah.
Don't forget
It has to be.
Spite him.
So basically, thanks very much. Basically, he was jabbering on about some calculations. Fucking who knows what the fuck he was on about, but he's very terrible at trying to explain. All I want to know, these breadcrumbs he was talking about, he's trying to lead us poor, stupid intellectuals that can't seem to grasp stupid things. So we have to put little breadcrumbs on the floor for us to, come to our conclusion. Listen, if you're insinuating something. You're insinuating curvature, then tell us what you're insinuating, okay? If you're telling us that this is what you see and this is how you
insinuating the drop is probably due to Earth.
Why is it that whenever the flat earthers want evidence that there's a globe, they say, bring the evidence, bring the calculations, bring the measurements, and then somebody does, and you go, oh, he's just rambling on calculations or something. That's not important.
It's evidence of a drop, but the drop could be optical. Over a flat plane.
There's literally no geometric curve, no horizon in the image. It is not a sensible image for arguing the curve.
I hear crying.
There is no curve in the image.
Why am I hearing crying?
Maybe you're in tune with yourself.
Oh, I'm always in tune with myself.
Your EQ.
Yeah. So why is it that I've done these observations to scale and over a flat surface and a non-flat surface? Why is it the flat surface doesn't match?
Perspective, optics, loss of visual information over a flat plane.
Yeah, that didn't work, Lemon.
It's not going to work anyway since vision isn't geometric. It's not going to work out perfectly mathematically, as much as you'd like it to over a flat
Not
plane.
that it didn't work.
Complicated.
Yeah, everything you claim, I tested. Didn't work.
Test it again. Go to Ranty's observation point with that tower. And
why
take
would
a
anything
drone up high and see if the mountain in the background rises above the tower in the foreground.
Nothing you postulate requires me to go to a different location.
It appears that the ball earthers pretend that they don't.
We have to do that to see if the relationship changes, where the mountain that's bigger in the background all of a sudden rises above the tower that it's bigger than in the foreground. That's
and Lemon, nothing you've claimed cannot be duplicated on a smaller scale.
Vision isn't geometric, therefore it's not going to be proportional at all scales the way that you're implying. Part of the information will be lost due to the diffraction limit over a flat plane. And it's going to change varying off of your height off of the surface. So the taller mountain in the background has visual information that's being lost much more quickly due to the diffraction limit and you being closer to the surface. making it appear to drop dramatically.
Nothing you said requires that for somebody to go to the same observation point, even though others have gone.
He said
to
vision.
the same observation point.
Hey, Bearded. He said vision isn't geometric.
Yeah,
Yet,
that's his.
Yet he claims that the vision of the eye, the top half and the bottom half, and it sees this, and is all geometric.
Yeah.
And what makes it laugh as well, he's showing this evidence, this fucking...
He's not showing anything, Brummy. Shut the fuck up.
So, hold on. Something that convinced him to go back to the globe, basically, he's looking at, and yet he can't even verbalize it in a coherent manner or make any claims to such a...
Well, he did. He clearly has repeated everything.
He can't clearly verbalize it. He's relying on insinuation.
What's blocking?
All I do is give him the maths, show him the picture, give him the maths, and lead him to learn himself. He doesn't show you nothing. He doesn't make no claim. He's just
all
saying,
you did was talk over him the whole fucking time.
He's not being direct, though. He's insinuating.
Exactly.
So if he's insinuating, that's kind of hard to trust.
Why am I hearing excuses and fun demuting from the flat earthers?
Hey, Bearded, how about you have the floor and you tell us what's blocking the mountains in that photo?
Yeah, man. Tell us. Make the claim, bro.
What do you mean? What's blocking it?
Well, you guys are claiming that the mountains are being the bottom of the mountain is blocked, right?
No one said
we don't have to, guys. Bearded Devil is a known obfuscator. He will not answer direct questions. He wants to interrogate flat earthers. So let's just keep the conversation productive and move forward.
And it's a red herring. No one's saying anything about the mountain being blocked.
Ranty did. He said that if it was a giant, it would be blocked to its waist.
Conflictions on the globe side. That's not good, is it? Percent. That's not good when they're arguing with their own little claims. They're not even sure about their own story, yeah.
The claim about this picture is that the mountains should be above the tower. That's the whole claim.
Yeah,
not
but also
claim.
The bottom of the mountain is blocked, just like a giant up to his waist.
I find it ironic that Brummy comments on the lack of consistency, considering how consistent flat earthers are between each other.
Well, the thing is, you guys are also making an implicit claim that vision is geometric and proportional, where you have these ratios preserved at all scales. That's not the case with the diffraction limit, which will make the visual information be lost.
None of us said that, Lemon. None of us said that, Lemon. That's literally what you say.
Implicit in your map. You would have drops even over a flat plane.
I love that Josh came in and had to say that, pointing out my point, but that it's not. It's kind of serious. It's how it is. What it is, man. Do you know what I mean? What can I say?
The fact remains that this piece of evidence is weak as fuck.
Of course you think that.
It was 4 times.
You don't have any actual counter evidence.
You said that the 950-meter mountains were 4 times as big as the 158-meter tower in the foreground, and therefore, as long as it's 4 times the distance away, it should maintain the same ratio where it's even.
So you don't pay attention.
Percent. How can we have it just got some clear one argument, proof, curvature? There's the measurements to it. All done by multiple people. Why haven't we got like a real good, evidence? And why isn't it simple to follow? Why does it require bullshit?
Hold on.
Like the Aristophanes experiment that was done by dozens of people around the world.
Excuse me, that was a question to me.
Oh, sorry, percentage.
The answer is because they do not have truth on their side. They got nothing. So it's weak. It seems flimsy as fuck to people that can recognize it.
You're the last one to talk about. Wait, you're the last one to talk about truth percentage.
It's
percentage. Address the claim. The thing is, on a flat Earth, the mountains should be above the tower, but the mountains aren't above the tower. Why?
Why should they be above the tower when you don't seem to account for refractive effects or perspective?
Refraction makes it even worse for flat Earth. You're aware of that?
You could have compression in the foreground where the mountain would be or whatever. It's fuzzy as fuck. We can't even tell. All right. You could have sinking.
Let's see if you can answer this question. Percentage. What atmospheric effect is causing the reduced size of the mountain to be below the tower on a flat surface?
We don't know if it is an atmospheric effect. It could be a perspective thing. It could be a mix of both.
Wait, what?
I just said both.
The evidence is inconclusive. It's an indeterminate piece of evidence.
Dude, perspective is in play. It's always in play. So why would you bring that up? Now here it is.
Because perspective can fluctuate with atmospheric effects.
No, it can't.
You could have atmospheric magnification or something.
What's the atmospheric effect percentage?
We don't know. Again, it's an inconclusive piece of evidence. It's not my piece of evidence.
It's some magical effect.
It's your guys' evidence, and you guys haven't come with enough information.
Here it is. You can't do it.
Exactly.
You can see everything clear AF. Honestly.
Why am I looking at what's clear? Because I've been looking at this.
You want to cough it up, Brumi? You want to sit there and tell us what the atmospheric effect is?
The atmospheric effect. Hold on. If you look through more moisture in the air, it will act as a lens, right? And it would give you a warping effect. Would you not agree with that? Or would you think that wouldn't? If you look through miles and miles of moisture in air, you wouldn't expect to see any sort of lensing effect.
Dude,
Is that?
I've already exposed Rob Skiba's bullshit. With
yes or no, man? Just yes or no, or shut up. Yes or no, or shut up. Exactly. So that's there you go.
Something
Next
to
question.
So we have a magnifying effect. It requires a focal point. That's your main problem. Now you can have miraging effects. I agree with all that shit, which do some weird shit in the atmosphere. But we don't see any miraging effects in the picture that Ranty presented. In fact, it's clear as fuck. There is so little disturbance in that picture. It's untrue. And I'm zoomed in.
I don't care if I talk about both sides. I don't care about the flat earthers. Don't care about the globe side. All I give a fuck about is this evidence been brought by Ranty. Apparently convinced him that this is
the only thing you care about is coming in and disrupting.
Hold on. I've looked at it and I'm sitting here.
Nobody's going to hold on. Fuck off.
I'm sitting there and asking questions, and he couldn't even make definitive claim as to what is the crux of the argument. He just says, "Oh, just give people breadcrumbs and they have to figure out for themselves." So basically, a bunch of maths.
Oh my fucking god! The calculations for this took me like 5 minutes. Honestly, it's sad. You need 5 minutes to go down, sit at your table, and write the calculations for a flat Earth and a globe Earth, and you will see that it should be above the tower on a flat Earth.
Okay, so you're saying basically that it's 4 times as big, the mountains are 4 times as big as the tower in the foreground, therefore up to 4 times the distance, it should appear bigger. At 4 times the distance exactly, it should appear equal in size, and then past that it should dip.
It's
your
not
claim isn't
not
justified.
4 times bigger.
Your claim isn't justified.
Lemon, it's not 4 times bigger.
I did the calculations with perspective,
meters.
Lemon.
The tower in the foreground is 150 meters. That's 4 times as 6 times as big.
No, it isn't.
Whatever.
Way more than 4 times, Lemon.
By 150.
It said 4
like
or
6
6
times as big.
times.
Yeah, but they said something about 4 times as big, therefore it should be 4 times the size. When you
It's not.
What's it called? The 200-foot base.
Who said that?
Yeah, that's what they said.
I mean, I did the calculations. It should be above the tower.
Nobody has said that.
4 times further.
Yes, I have.
Well,
Lemon, I think over 4 times further, and it's also over 4 times larger.
So basically, you're saying it should
it's
appear
3.
bigger
Well,
until
hold on. Let's get to be fair. So the tower from there, Blackpool Tower is 25 miles, and that's 90. So that's 3.6 times further away. So
it's about 6 times taller.
So
Yeah, at the end of the day, right? What? Hold on. All I don't get yet is why is Ranty trying to get me to work out
if we're not accurate.
Man. Hold on, stop talking over us, bro. At the end of the day, why is Ranty getting us to do calculations when you haven't even agreed what the horizon is and what we're calculating?
It's literally what you've been doing the entire time you've been here.
Why would you ask someone to do calculations when you haven't even decided what the horizon is and what you calculate?
Who cares about this?
Because it's important. If you're trying to work out something,
Why does the fucking horizon matter? The horizon does not matter in this argument.
Why would you go to calculations? Why would you go to calculations when you haven't agreed on your observations?
Because on a flat
horizon does not fucking matter.
Hard.
Well, the thing is,
the horizon is absolutely irrelevant in this argument.
What you see with your eyes, and from what your perspective and what we see in this image is very important to this. Extremely, it's the actual foundation of the argument. So I don't think you even understand what you're talking about.
You need to listen to
the actual image of what you're seeing is absolutely paramount to the actual argument because it's supposed to be evidence towards or one way or another. So
every single person, important, you idiot. Every single person in this chat right now has told you that the horizon is absolutely irrelevant in this image. Absolutely irrelevant.
Guys, I'm going to explain. Look, the argument is about the started talking and you started to talk after me. So the argument is that the mountain should be little above the tower due to perspective. Perspective is taken into account in the calculations.
Okay.
On a flat Earth. And on a globe Earth, wait, it's 10 seconds.
What did I ask you? Can I answer my question, please?
On a globe Earth, the
Stop
mountain
talking.
should
Shut
be
the fuck up.
approximately in the middle of the tower. That's the whole argument. The horizon does
My
not
question to
even
you is,
matter
why
a
are you
little
making
bit.
calculations
Show me
to
why it
something you actually-
matters.
Why are you making calculations to observations you haven't agreed on what you're calculating to? So what are you trying to calculate when you haven't agreed what you're looking at and what you're calculating to? What is the
That's
point?
a
in
red
going
herring,
to?
man. That's
We're
you.
calculating.
This whole fucking piece of evidence is a red herring.
No, it isn't.
There's
No,
no
it's not.
horizon.
Oh,
bro.
wait,
You can't
let
say
them
it's
explain
the
why.
geometric horizon when there's no horizon.
Doesn't matter. Dude. It's not about the horizon. Not a little
It is, because you
bit.
guys are saying something's blocking the bottom of the mountain.
No one-
What's blocking the bottom
Oh,
of the
no,
mountain?
no.
It's not the geometric horizon.
You're not saying that. Nothing is blocking anything in this moment.
That's what
Of
Ranty
course.
said. He said it's blocking it just like a giant would be blocked to the waist.
So why are we
No.
calculating if you're not, why are we calculating then? What are we calculating then if we're not making any claims as to what it is, you spaz?
Oh my God. There's one
more
claim on the table. This doesn't work on a flat Earth. If you
Because-
believe otherwise, show us.
That's your opinion,
No.
bro.
What I'm saying
That's
to
not
you
an
is your
opinion.
evidence.
That's your
or-
opinion.
What I'm saying is Ranty's
It's
evidence for the globe,
demonstrable.
Ranty's evidence for the globe doesn't actually show you anything. What you're saying is we're not making a claim, but we're going to start
Fucking
calculating.
It
Hold on.
does.
Hold on, man. Hold
It
on.
shows plenty.
Hold on. We're going to do calculations. You're saying we're going to do calculations on something we haven't agreed to what we're looking at. That's what your argument is right now.
Show us this works on a flat surface.
This isn't your opinion.
This is your evidence.
On- and-
This is your evidence.
Your opinion of what we're looking at is fucking irrelevant. They told you
agree with what you're saying.
exactly.
Why you
No, I don't need to agree with you because
Why are you calculating?
what
Why are you
you're doing,
calculating?
what
Why
you're
are you
doing,
with
Brummy,
yourself?
what you're doing, Brummy, is trying to make an argument for anybody else.
I'm asking a question. Why are you
The,
calculating?
observation was that from the tower to the mountain, we know the known distance, we know the known elevations.
I never asked this question, but go on. My question to you is: why are you calculating if you haven't agreed on what's been obscured, or you're
That's a
insinuating
red
what's been
herring.
obscured?
What do we need to
No,
agree
I
with you
know,
with?
How
What I'm
fucking
talking
dense
about-
are you?
What do we need to agree with you with? What do we need to agree with you with? What do we need to agree with you with?
I'm trying to find the.
What do we
logical
need to
path.
agree with you with?
I'm trying to answer the question.
What do we
I'm
need
trying
to
find
agree
the-
with you with?
Yo,
Brummy,
stop
answer the
fucking
question.
saying the same thing.
No,
I'm trying to
he asked me a question. He said we need to agree. What do we need to agree with you with?
I'm trying to follow the logical path as to why
That's
you would
not a
start.
What do I
question,
need to
Elliot.
agree with you
You're
with?
not even making sense
I
anymore.
want to follow the logical path
You're the
as
one
to
asking
why
the
you would
question.
you'd see some sort of obstruction, and then you would start to calculate something into it. So why would you do that? Are you insinuating a certain shape? That's all I want to know from that individual. It's not a hard question. It doesn't require you to be coming in and screaming and shouting like a 2-year-old.
Okay, look in the
Absolutely
fucking
right
mirror.
there.
So
Confirmation bias.
what do we need to agree with you with, Brummy? Are you gonna finally answer that?
I want you to agree the fact that you are calculating something you haven't even agreed on the observation. I think the observation is absolutely empirical to the calculation you're going to make. So
What do we need to
if
agree
you're
with
going
you
to
with on the observation?
that making a calculation on something you haven't even agreed on the observation is a bit bizarre. Why would you go in blind? You'd have to make an agreement on what the observation is and then try and calculate.
We don't need to agree with you on shit. You making
You have to
something up
agree that
about
you do
the
not
observation.
know why the bottom of the mountain is not visible. You have no fucking clue.
Why are you
Do
worried
I agree
about
with you about that?
Fucking
you
relevant
have
to
to
the
agree.
argument.
You have no
Hold up,
clue why
percentage.
the bottom of the mountain is
No,
not visible.
we actually don't.
Hold up.
It's
Percentage.
fucking dumb as fuck, man. This is the
Oh,
dumbest
it's
shit I've heard
Mr.
in my life. Oh no, can I just say you are dumb as shit. You're a dumb fucking individual. I ain't even lying because listen, that is the dumbest shit I've heard. I'm clearly asking you, why would you calculate something you haven't agreed to the observation? And the geezer's lost his mind. It's a simple question. It doesn't require-
We need to agree
That's
on
funny.
the baseline.
That's funny. I
of the-
didn't. I actually
hold
asked you one simple question that you refused to answer.
We're looking at curvature.
Here's a
not
simple
bit.
question that you'll refuse
Is
to
that
answer.
curvature?
But it was your claim.
What is obscure?
It was your
at the
claim that
bottom
we
of
had
the
to
mountain?
agree.
Is it curvature or not? Answer the question: is it curvature or not? Yes or fucking no? Stick to the fucking truth, bitch.
It's not. It's not flat. It's not flat.
It's not flat.
It's
Is it curvature? Is it curvature? Yeah, you won't say it's curvature.
It's not flat.
Obscuring the bottom of the mountain.
So what do you want to believe then? What are we arguing about then? If it's not all right, it's not flat. Who cares? Who cares what shape it is? I couldn't give a toss. But what? That's not a claim. Well, you're making a claim. It's definitely not flat. Okay. So how do you know it's not flat?
Does it work on a flat surface? Percentage.
How does it work?
Shifting of the burden-proof fallacy.
No.
Look, Brummy. Look at Brummy's spiraling.
What's obscuring the bottom of the mountain? Simple as that.
It's the fraction limit in optics over a flat plane, making it drop
Lemon can do
flat.
this. Lemon's wrong, but how is it Lemon can interject how it works? How it's supposed to work on a flat surface?
Well, the thing is, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know whether it's flat, and I don't know if it's round. But yeah, the evidence for round right now is lacking. That's all I know. It's lacking. It's difficult to just show curvature and stick to saying this is curvature.
Fucking
It's the vegetable curvature. Boom, there it is. And the end of argument. But instead, all I'm hearing is, oh, I just lead people to this, inclusion. What are you insinuating, bitch? Just don't insinuate nothing. Yeah, tell me, show me the curvature, prove the curvature, and then the argument. Prove the fucking curvature. Yeah, show us the curvature. And end the argument. If it's not easy,
well, the thing is, you guys are implying that it's curvature that's hiding the mountain. That's what you're implying and insinuating, but you're not really showing curve. You have this drop that you can account for other than a curve, but maybe you can account for it with optics and the diffraction limit.
It's because they're being disingenuous. They're trying to say that the curve is blocking the mountain, but they don't want to claim the curve is blocking the mountain because there is no fucking curve.
Lemon has
they want to try and insinuate it as the only explanation, but I don't know if that's the case.
Oh,
don't ignore your claim. Hold on. Lemon, you have a claim on the table on how it's supposed to work on a flat earth.
Right.
Do you have a demonstration of this?
We can demonstrate that taller objects appear to dip down toward the horizon dramatically because if you raise a flat book at its level up above your eyes, it appears to have a much steeper inclined ramp as it goes up toward the distance. So to see with practical experience, that higher objects appear to dip much more dramatically like the mountain.
Hold on. I'm not asking for rhetoric. I want evidence.
The thing is, you accept rhetoric with this insinuation saying that the only thing that can for this is Earth curve. You're accepting rhetoric there, but rejecting it from the spot.
Testing the claims. Do you?
Your level of testing is low. You don't have a unit to prove that it's actually being hidden by a hump of Earth curve. You haven't even tested it with a laser. You can't see through the ground, and you don't see side-to-side curvature like you would on a ball at the horizon. So you really don't have anything except an interpretation that's kind of erroneous.
Lemon, where is your evidence for your claim?
Practical experience. Look in the hallway. The floor and the ceiling ramp together, and the visual information is lost.
This isn't hard, man.
The object appear to be cut off like the mountain and appear to drop.
I'm just a guy, yeah. I'm going to be honest with everybody, I'm going to put my heart on the line. I'm going to tell you this, man. I'm looking around for this curvature. Yeah. Look, it may be there. There may be actually curvature there. But you know what? I'm just saying there's nothing that I've ever seen that can make me go, you know what, wow, there's no argument that it's definitely there. There isn't nothing there, lads. And you are lacking to actually have convincing evidence. And I'm just saying, I don't care what the shape it is. So at the end of the day, I just if you want me to believe that it's there, then just show it us then, and just give us directions clear as day for us to all see instead, and then the argument instead of all this bitching. Do you know what I mean? Stop bitching around it. It's been going on for how long now?
So their argument, Brummy, is that we would have these perfect math proportions over a flat plane. They're not perfectly mathematical, therefore they're going to go with a curve. That's basically their insinuated argument.
It's a weak argument.
Lemon, simple questions here. Without refraction or any atmospheric effects, should those mountains be above the tower on a flat Earth?
No, our objects down dramatically. I can show you two poles in a parking lot that are the same size. One will appear lower than the other due to perspective. If it's further away, it's the same with the mountains that are taller.
Lemon, all you have to say is the way the picture shows you is exactly how it would appear on a flat Earth. The way the picture perceives it is what we see. That's what we see in reality. Now let's talk about what we see in that picture. Let's talk about the picture, what we see in reality. That's what we see in reality. What's that? Is it where's the horizon? What are we calculating to?
Why are you?
Fucking hell, shut up. Look, Lemon. So,
You guys are just wasting
I
time.
calculated it myself. I took perspective into account.
Why did you calculate?
Should the mountain be above the tower on a flat Earth model? Yes or no?
No, because if they were the same size, you'd be implying it's on a flat plane that was the same size. When I can go to a parking lot with two poles that are the same size, and one will dip down below the other, but you're implying that they would look like they're the same size on a flat plane.
I know how perspective works. I took it into account. Idiot.
Lemon, stop squealing, man. I need to get a point across. What did you calculate? Because you said you calculated to it. So what did you assume from looking at the picture? And what was you calculating to? Why did you calculate from looking at the picture? What was your incentive? What was you calculating from that point? That's the question we need to be answered.
Okay, so I took the distances from Google Maps. I took the exact location of the observer. I had the coordinates. Then I measured angles, the angular size of the tower and the mountains from that point where the observer was, and I got that the angular size of the mountains should be a bit like the mountain should be a bit higher than the tower. Like if you draw straight lines to these to that point of that mountain, it should be above the tower, that line of sight. And
when I did it, it looks pretty similar to it. When Sleeping Warrior did it, it looked pretty similar to what we see on the picture image that you've displayed. And we hold on. There was a lot of curvature that was unaccounted for in your original post, because the Blackpool SWAN, apparently what it's called, was showing it was supposed to be over the Blackpool Tower initially, and now the argument moved down to the left because it was evidence that was brought to from the flat Earth side, and now you guys are trying to argue about that because you realise this is a very big slip up on your behalf.
Okay, so first of all, can I see these calculations from Sleeping Warrior? Because my calculations were pretty accurate, at least I thought so. I took everything into account. Now please show me how I'm wrong and show me the right calculations for a flat Earth.
Rami can't do math. What are you talking about?
He said he had calculations.
Rami can't do math.
We can calculate shit into reality, can't we? At the end of the day, we can't even agree here in this room what the horizon is or where it is and what's actually happening and what we're calculating to here. Very simple questions, and all I'm getting is deviation and condescending replies. So well done, lads. I mean, you're really good at presenting your global argument, and I'd be happy to be a global right now if you could do it easy enough for me to go. All right. So
can you show me these measurements, please? You said you have measurements. Show them. Sleeping Warrior had some. Show me them.
The measurements, I ain't going through them right now, man. Just leave it as that. Yeah.
You have no fucking evidence, because I can show you my calculations, and my calculations will show that this line of sight should be above the tower.
That may be true. I'll be fair enough. I'll be fair with you now. That may be entirely true, but could you explain what you're calculating to from looking at the image? I need to know what you're presuming for you to start calculating something. I need to know where your mental aspect is at, where you're looking at this picture and you're trying to calculate something too. So I need to know why you're trying to calculate something.
Hold on.
I need you.
All your questions can be answered.
Is it fucking relevant? I wanted to calculate something. That's all I need.
And what was your assumption from the picture? What are you trying to calculate? How are you envisioning?
God damn it! Do you listen to anything people say?
I do listen to what people say.
Apparently not, man. A lot of the questions you're asking have already been answered within the demonstration that Ranty presented on Cat's channel.
So what was the answer to the question then? Since you know that the answers was given.
Go watch it yourself, dude. Well, stop being an asshole about it.
No, that's a positive claim. The burden of proof is on you.
If you put coming in,
he also did it. He claimed he has calculations, and he didn't provide them. So he did the same thing. It's okay.
You came in as an authority to tell me that what has been said, and I've asked you to blast your claim. Said. Okay, then we're dealing with children in here. At the end of the day, why are you calculating it? What did you derive from the What did you derive from the image, and why would you start to make it calculate? And that's all I want to know. And you can't answer that question. If you can't answer that question, then I can't follow your logical path. I can't follow your logical path.
It's not a logic.
So the answer to that question is because I want to see how it looks like on a flat Earth and on a globe Earth. What the predictions are where this mountaintop should be.
Okay, so how did you derive? Hold on. So how did you derive where the actual horizon would be through that thick dirt? Yeah.
Why doesn't the fucking horizon matter? Fucking hell. Honestly,
Brahmi, did Ranty showed that based on the sizes of the mountains in the distance and known elevations of the mountains in the distance, the base of the mountain is way below the near horizon line.
Near horizon line.
So what I don't know what you're saying. So basically,
so in the image, there is a close horizon line that seems, and then the mountains rise above those. But we have two mountains in the distance. We know the elevation of both of those mountains, and he used scale to show that the base of the mountains, where sea level would be on those mountains, is hundreds of feet below the horizon line.
All right, brilliant. All right, cool. That's great. I guess I'm a Glover now then.
That's all it takes.
But,
yeah. I'm back with a new account, Brahmi. Excellent. Well, yeah, I just posted a photo. The photo on the left, notice it's not cropped.
Yeah.
Doesn't help you because that's a 976 meter mountain. So you see, those yellow lines represent where the bases have to be. And
where sea level would be on those mountains.
Yeah. And your claim being water is flat and level, well, the water's above that. So if we do a flat line, hold on, let me speak. I've been listening to fucking ramble for an hour. Okay? That water, based on the claim water's always flat and level, we can draw a planar surface right out from that. Knowing the elevation heights that you alluded to with Sleeping Warrior's elevation profile, that alone should show you. And then percentage with his Hail Mary refractive effect atmospheric conditions that he can't specify, but gives, it's a speculation, which is nothing, by the way. That's nothing. That's just a placeholder for your denial. None of that makes sense because there's no distortion, sinking, towering, because we can match the peaks on Peak Finder and the scarring on the mountain from the original observations all perfectly uniformly shrunken down. There's no distortion there. And the diffraction limit mentioned by Lemon, diffraction limit is when a camera is no longer makes out certain details. That's not seen here. You might see a little bit of bits on the snow-capped mountain, but none of that shit makes sense.
Listen, Sheeple, I'd like to say I'll show my intellectual honesty and I'll say it's about time somebody's came up with some sort of actual claim as to actually where about the curvature would be and the actual obstruction on the Earth. That's the actual first image I've ever seen, and I've been looking around at these arguments and I'd say well done presented, and I totally see now we've actually got an actual claim, an actual measurement, an actual visual of something to work with, which was never presented.
But even that image, it doesn't account for change in angular size.
Yes, it fucking does, you idiot.
It does.
It's the main thing it takes into account.
It does.
Percentage. How do you turn that off?
He's saying that in the foreground, it would be where the black lines are, or the yellow lines, or whatever, right?
Are you
the yellow lines are
that would be the base of the mountain, but it's not accounting for all that distance in between.
Those lines
It is, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, but you have to take 5 minutes of your life. I think it's actually no, it's 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I think, and you have to go and watch the video, and then you can get the calculation, and then refute the calculation method. All right.
What video?
I'll get it. Just a second.
Lost enough brain cells today.
Percentage. You realize
I'm going to put it out there and say it can't happen on a flat Earth. I know a shape that can, and that would be an oblate spheroid with an average radius of 3,959 miles. Thank you. I'm going to put it out there. Unless you can show me using known elevation.
What I would say is that it's over land anyway. Land is an unserviced and unreliable service to be doing measurements over in the first place.
It's even more reliable than water, Brummy.
Do show me something over water and
Brummy, the problem with water is that there's massive temperature differentials because of the water, which causes, the
water
unknown amounts. Brummy, shut the fuck up, you say.
Sorry.
water causes more refraction, and it also causes, weird atmospheric effects. So observations over water are less reliable than those over land.
Okay, well, but like I say, it might be the best evidence. I'm glad that you guys have had the balls to make a claim as to where this actual curvature is finally, after fucking screaming and shouting for God knows how long. Well done, sheeple.
We've been doing this for forever, and you guys just deny it. It's just the same thing as boats disappearing over the horizon, or you can't see the bottom of the mountain. It's the same fucking stupid argument that we've been making for years, and you guys just ignore it. But now you see that we draw some lines on a picture, and now it's automatically a better argument. That's ridiculous.
It's really not.
Well, the thing is, your claim is kind of weak because we see
fucking argument, and it's just
your claim is a little
it's being obscured by the curve, except there's still no curve. I understand that's where it would be, like in between the base and the yellow lines, but there's still no curve.
It's trying to claim a level line, but a little bacterium is smaller than the level line in your, theodolite or the reticle in your optical instrument, and it has already disappeared. So by logical extension, your level line would disappear just like the bacteria that we can't see with our naked eyes. The level line would not be preserved. It would eventually disappear and be crushed, surrounding visual information, causing possibly a drop even over a flat plane. And so you're assuming that your level line is going to be preserved over a flat plane, but I don't know if that assumption is valid since we can't even see bacteria, which are even thinner than your level line.
And you can't refute that. You just are not going to assume that.
That's logic and reason.
Yeah,
that's
logic and reason where you make a false equivalence
to say that your level line will eventually converge, merge, smush, and disappear and be crushed by surrounding information.
Tower. It's a 158 meter tower and a 778 meter mountain behind it. And you're trying to go, well, I got 2 lampposts in the car park, for fuck's sake.
Well, we already see level lines appear to dip and rise. 2 poles in the parking lot that are the same height and level have a level line extending from one pole to the other when they're the same size that appears to dip down toward the horizon. So we already see the level lines ramping up and dipping. So I think your claim that the level line would not dip is not valid. I think eventually it will dip, ramp up and down, converge, merge, and disappear.